Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. As you can see, the sun is up behind me. I'm actually recording this Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m., but for all intents and purposes, you will be watching this Sunday morning. So happy Sunday to you all. Okay, now that we covered that, I want to say this first and foremost. I don't know why this is. I don't know. I have some kind of mental block. I don't know if this is some kind of learning disability, but I seriously have a hard time pronouncing names sometimes. I can't pronounce names. I don't have this problem with any other words. So I'm not doing this on purpose. You know, I try. The more I try, the more I stumble over names, and I'll probably do it in this video. So I apologize to you guys for this, but it really is a problem, a disability or whatever with me. I have a hard time pronouncing people's names sometimes. All right, Bill Maher, all right, had William Shatner on his show just recently. The link will be down below. And I am a Trekkie. I am a Trekkie all day and night, man. Star Wars is okay, but I love Star Trek, man. And so he had William Shatner on the show. And he asked William Shatner about one of the most controversial TV episodes to ever air, especially back in 1968 when this episode aired. Star Trek was only on for 3 years. It became more popular later on, actually. It became more of a phenomenon later on. But he asked William Shatner about the famous interracial kiss between him and Lieutenant Uhura. Lieutenant Uhura was played by Michelle Nichols, and she recently passed away in 2022, I believe. So Bill Maher asked him, kind of grills him a little bit about this. He asked William Shatner if this kiss would have happened if William Shatner hadn't pushed for it. And William Shatner said, no, it would not have happened. So William Shatner pushed to break this new ground, because, and this actually says this in the article down below, that in a lot of southern stations, that they wouldn't even air stuff that showed anything interracial. Even back in, it's hard to believe they wouldn't show this. And apparently they did. I can't remember the episode offhand, actually, but they filmed it so they actually didn't show the actual locking of lips in the episode. It was inferred, and but they still, it was an inferred interracial kiss, and it was a big deal back in 1968. And it's cool that William Shatner pushed for this. And here's the big thing. This is why I want to talk about this. I believe I've talked about this in another video, but I'm going to go through it all again, because it's something that it was a big moment in my life. My very first kiss. I mean real kiss, like a French kiss, like a make-out kiss. Very first kiss with a woman ever in my life was with a black girl, a black Jamaican girl. And I'm going to tell you about that. It's a true story. Okay, her name was, I'm going to tell you her name, Georgia. Her name was Georgia. I love the name. We used to sit next to, I was 13 years old, I believe. I was a slow starter, I guess. That was my very first kiss. We sat next to each other in art class. She was tall. She was very shapely, very tall. So I was a tall guy too. So, tall girls usually are attracted to tall guys. So, they don't look as tall themselves. A lot of the girls I dated were like 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", which is, so they a lot of times they find tall girls, find tall guys attractive. And we sat next to each other in art class back in, I think it was 7th grade, and we'd flirt around all the time. And here's how it was. A chance meeting. Me and my friend, we lived not too far from Double Drive-In, a drive-in theater back in, let's see, if I was 13, this was back in 1978, 1979. And we walked, me and my best buddy, he was sleeping over my house. And it was like maybe 6 o'clock at night. And we decided to walk the mile or two to the local drive-in and sneak in. So we brought like blankets to sit on. We hiked down. We snuck in through the fence. Like I said, it was a double. I don't remember what was playing. And we actually sat on, where the movie used to come out of the building, the concession stand. Like it was a double movie theater with one drive in here and one drive in here, and the concession in the middle, and all the cars on either side. And we sat on one side. We sat right on the side of the building. It was like a big transformer, a big metal box transformer. We sat up on top of that. And the picture was coming right out of the building. The beam of light was coming right out next to us, right, going up to the screen. We were watching the movie there. And I remember the first movie was over. It was intermission. And me and my buddy are sitting on this big metal thing watching everybody come up. The lights kind of come up. And we're watching. 13-year-old me and my buddy are watching. And and then I see my crush, Georgia, walking up. And she comes right over to me. Like I said, we were both sitting up on the metal box. And she comes and she walks up like right between, like right up against the metal box, like where my legs are, and leans up into me like this. And she starts flirting with me. You know, my buddy, like I said, we're only 13, you know, and he's like, you know, he gives me the look and stuff like that. And we start talking. And I don't remember how it started, but I slipped down off the transformer. And before you know it, we are just going at it hot and heavy. We are just making out. It's the first time I ever kissed. The first time I ever kissed a woman in my life. She told me I was a great kisser too. So I don't know. They probably, you know, women probably do that all the time. I was probably pretty sloppy. I don't know. But okay, so we're just, you know, and I just, you know, I was so excited. A 13-year-old boy. And I'm getting all handsy and stuff. The lights had gone back down. And I don't know how the subject came up in between kisses, but I was like, you know, who are you here with? And she said, I'm here with my family, my father, my sister, my brother. And I started to panic because I realized she was late going back to the car. She hadn't even gone to the concession stand yet. And I was just picturing in my head her father and her brothers coming up and finding her making out with me, you know. So I was like, oh my God, you know, I don't want to stop, you know, because this was my first, I was in heaven. I was just like, it was the greatest thing ever, this kiss, you know. Oh my gosh, you know, your first kiss, you know, and I could just feel her standing up against me. You know, it was pretty innocent, you know, by all standards. It was just basically a make out thing, a little handsy, but so we went our way, we partied, and we started dating after that. Like I said, I was on foot. I was 13 years old, and I would meet her at the local library. It was halfway in between our houses, like on a Saturday, and we'd sit like in a table, a research table or a reference table far in the back, and we'd just start making out. And I don't know how we didn't get in trouble back then. You know, this is in Connecticut, so it wasn't a big deal. I'm sure the librarians saw us going at it. We never got in trouble for it. So we dated for a little while. I actually did catch flack. Most of my friends were cool with it. Most of my friends were like, dude, she's gorgeous, man. You're lucky. But there was like one or two guys, especially these two guys that were on, I'm not saying anything about football, but they were on the football team. And this guy was Armenian, I think. I don't know. Anyway, I caught some flack from a couple of my buddies. You know, they were just like, you know, they were stupid. They were just idiots. So like two guys. All my other friends were like, yeah, man, you know, she's gorgeous. You're so lucky, man. I lost track of her. I saw her right after I graduated when I was probably about 20 or 21 at the local mall. And she told me she was married and had 2 children and everything like that. And I, you know, she looked completely different. She looked like a mom, you know, and I was still at 21 years old. I was still acting like a kid, but it was good to see her again. And now I have no idea. I've tried Googling her. I've tried Googling her name, and I can't find her anywhere. And it's too bad because I would love to talk to this woman again. My very first kiss ever with a woman was me and a Jamaican, a beautiful black girl named Georgia, just like my hero, Captain Kirk. Anyway, let me know what you think. The links will be down below. I'll be back later with another video. Live long and prosper, man.